You mentioned the risk of colonoscopy. Can that be done by drugs?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Barbieri, it can not be done by drugs. It can, however, be done remotely, where you swallow a pill, and this pill has a little camera, and it makes its way through your intestines, and those images are uploaded to a doctor who's often thousands of miles away, who then interprets that.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman. Barbieri. Can this same procedure then be done in a pregnancy? Swallowing a camera and helping the doctor determine what the situation is with the...
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Chairman, Representative. Please make your decisions.
Congressional biology classes.
Simply because it does not end up in your vagina. Cheers.
Is that a doctor of ophthalmology?
Boys
Rand
have
Paul?
penises, girls have vaginas.
And none of them are connected to your asshole.
No.
Cheers, you straights. It's from Behind the Barcast.
We're here.
For
Woo.
bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Paxton. That's Clint Moses. We got Jeff. Interesting side note, Landrum on the ones and twos over there.
Hey-yo.
And we're back. This is episode 76. The date is, because you're going to give me hell.
It is July 11th, Monday.
We are back. Thank you to the patrons. We had a little blackout last week, but not the good kind of blackout.
Not a good kind, yeah.
Not the good kind, because it was 2 p.m. when we were recording.
So for being sober on a podcast.
So we're back. We've got a week back. We're backed up. We got blue balls for content.
Yeah, we got content blue balls.
So settle in. I'm gonna settle in right now because we're in for a ride tonight.
We're known to be settled.
yeah, we're very settled. So and we're having a little thunderstorm tonight. I think it's passed a little bit, so I think we'll be able to finish our record. We'll be able to finish tonight.
Look, I'm coming tonight.
No matter how drunk I am, I'm gonna finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all your love and your comments on Instagram and everything. But we haven't done role play in a while, so I wanted to open with that. Okay.
Do I need to put on my bondage gear?
Not this time.
Okay.
Hey. What kind of shots do you have here? Hey. What kind of shots do you have here? What kind of shots do you have here? What kind of shots do you have here?
We have all kinds of shots.
Morphine for you, buddy.
I was like, sir.
Chlorophylodone?
7 o'clock.
Get too much energy.
So what they had already, it was a
Sunday also?
It was 2 Saturdays ago.
Oh, okay. That's okay Saturday energy.
So it was like 7 o'clock, and it was like college aged kids. There was 5 of them.
Say white boy, 22 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So they come up and they all eat, and I'm like, do I want anything to drink? Besides water, whatever. And they were like, no, we're just gonna eat. So they sat down and ate. All very, I don't know, polite, just normal. And then I guess they were like, this looks like a fun place to have some shots at or whatever. Yeah. The guy came up, he goes, what kind of shots do you have here? I was like, dude.
Was it Temple Grandin, son?
Thank you for bringing Temple Grandin back into the... But yeah,
it's like a hug.
But I was like, hey, sir. I was like, do you mean like how much are the shots? Or like, do we have like mixed shots? He goes, what kind of shots do you have here? I was like,
well, not with Red Bull for you.
I said, we have tequila and they're only $4 a piece.
What'd they end up getting?
Tequila.
Perfect.
Well, the thing is,
let it right where you want it.
If you will someone into like, if you subtly with your eyes question their like manhood, or not necessarily manhood, but just their
intentions,
adulthood, and you're like, oh man, let's do some tequila, and they're like, yeah.
I do that all the time.
Tequila.
I'm like, people are like, so we have a filet special or a ribeye special all the time, and we have a New York strip on the menu.
Do you like pour shame them?
Guess which one costs more? Not the $37 New York strip. People are like, well, which steak is better? I'm like, well,
yeah, right.
The New York strip's going to be the tougher and not the least lean. Not as lean as the filet. Filet's going to be softer, leaner.
But see, that's the thing. I prefer a strip.
Well, that's because you're a stripper.
Over a filet. I'm just saying.
But ribeye is the top of the line.
At least my name's
when we have a ribeye, it's 12 to it's usually 14 ounces, and the fillets are 9. It's a Chateaubriand cut. But I always say 7 to 8 ounce filet and 12 ounce ribeye because I want you to get a first course. If I tell you the real weight, you're gonna be like, oh, I hate that.
Right, yeah.
So they're always, which one's smaller? I'm like, oh, the fillet. It's also $60. They're like, well, I want the fries. I'm like, you can get it with the fries. I got a guy in the back that'll
I
do
got a
that for
guy.
you.
Oh, fry guy.
I constantly say
Frites.
that. I got a guy for you,
Yeah.
and like I sell more fillets. So I was like, yeah, you sold 9 fillets. We had 12. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm not an idiot.
And not to get, not
But
to,
you're kind of pressured. Like, well, you want the fillet. It's the better cut.
right, yeah. So if I were in a salesman's position, but
What are you doing?
I mean, well, I'm not like, hey, you want another topping on your pizza? Because it doesn't,
Coffee is for closers.
Get one more.
It doesn't
Just
toss
pepperoni,
it. Yeah,
loser.
I'm not making any more money.
I get the 40 cents off that tip.
So, not to bring it all the way to food, but like I like ribeyes. I don't like fillets.
Let's talk about food in our
yeah, on
bartending.
our bartending and service industry. Speaking of,
So you're ribeye number one.
Ribeye number one,
And
and
Fro
then
is also ribeye number one, Fro.
I like hanger steaks the best.
Oh, okay.
interesting side note: Fro likes hanger steaks.
I like the way they hang.
And
that meat hang.
And interesting side note, you know how many hanger steaks you get per cow?
2.
2, because there's 2 sides to every animal.
That's 2.
You held up a 1 for a second.
It's the throat only. It's on both sides of the neck. So you only get
I mean, mine wraps all the way around. That's what I
it's
get.
one big hanger.
The roper.
So later on, we'll be talking about this in a little more depth in the
Speaking of hangers and bodies.
Yeah, in the Patreon. But you talked about strippers. So there's this lady with a stripper's name. It's Candice, Kandiss.
Oh,
And,
Candice.
Yeah, and she was running for Goober Natural Tits. For
Goober,
the
yeah, that's
whatever.
the one.
Well, anyways, a couple years ago, I made a video on the Georgia Guidestones. I found out about. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I went up there. I filmed a little bit, gave a little synopsis of why people thought it was so mysterious. They thought it just showed up by like aliens. Is what I was.
They call it the American Stonehenge, what it's been
Right.
called lately in the news.
But I was like, well, once I got there, I was like, oh no, this group of people paid for it, and it's in the granite capital of like the U.S.
Yeah.
Granite capital of the world is
Yeah.
an interesting side note.
World?
Granite
Oh,
capital of
that
the
is
world.
Stone
interesting.
Mountain granite goes all the way down to Macon.
Oh wow, okay. So I make this video,
Where
and then
pickles come from.
so then some incel blows
So
it
there's
up.
the white nationalism.
Yeah.
So some incel blows it up, and then I start seeing like people I know posting things like, "Thank you to whoever blew this satanic thing up," and I was like, this is weird because like if there's an epic battle going on between good and evil, between Satan and God, Satan and Jesus, and some incel blowing up a rock has anything to do with the outcome of this.
God's like, thank you. I couldn't get that myself.
So then here's the best part. These are the same. And as if on cue, when I say something about an epic battle between good and evil, lightning strikes and shuts our recording.
And I
down.
don't mean like the band live.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying though. So these are the same people talking about blowing up monuments. So all right, you have the old they're like tear down the Confederate monuments and all that stuff, right? I'm not a proponent of that because I think you should keep your history close to you.
Well, you can at least move. I'm okay with moving them somewhere, but don't destroy them.
Yeah, don't destroy anything. You got to have your past. You got to be able to visualize
the future based off how bad.
and
the past
see how
was,
far you've come, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But these are the same guys.
They don't have to be in the middle of a town square.
They're like, blow that thing up, but then at the same time, they're like, heritage, not hate.
yes, exactly.
Like, don't mess with my monuments,
Yeah.
But this isn't a monument for anyone.
don't tread on my monuments.
You know why it's not a monument for anyone? Because they were like, well, fuck it, we might as well open up the time capsule that was underneath it.
Oh, that's the best part.
Burt Reynolds on the front of Playboy signed 40,000 fucking Quaaludes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the troll job of the century.
Oh yeah.
God and Satan laughed in unison.
Yes.
Whenever they found
Unfortunately, that's not a real time
Interesting
capsule.
side note, that was not accurate.
Oh no!
Oh, it got you.
I got fake news.
You got fake news?
Damn it!
Somebody sent me a screenshot of it. Was like, is this real? And before I was typing out, why in the F would it be real?
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
like, I did my own research. And I found out that it's not real. I'm like, why would that be under there?
Yeah,
Well,
I thought it was a great troll job. So.
The giveaway was
that's me.
the law of diminishing quaaludes, where it started off at 1,763, and then it was down to 1,300.
Oh, I
and
thought-
then it was down to
I didn't see the numbers.
1,000,
down.
and then it was like, oh,
Could you hand me my liquor drink over there? I left it
And-
over
and-
there.
that's mine now.
And the lightning fright.
And come
it's
and come.
mine, Nickel.
And can we come? Whoa! Have you had a few? And come back to both of us, please, so I can be seen in all my glory. I didn't shave today for no reason.
All right.
So, and we'll get into more of the.
We'll get into more of that in the Patreon.
We've got some coincidental monuments and other places that were involved, possibly.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll bring that.
And we'll
forth.
talk about that
I
more.
did
Yeah.
my own research, as I do.
And also along those same lines, we'll talk about this more in the Patreon as well. But I watched this documentary called "The Akali Raft Experiment."
Okay.
they stuck 10 people. This Spanish scientist, he picked 10 people to put on a raft to go out for 101 days, because he had read a study about rats and about primates, where if you stuck five male, 5 female, and the females had already birthed kids, then there'd be conflict and all this stuff. So he picked 10 different people from 10 different parts of the world, 10 different backgrounds, 10 different religions and all this. And he expected them to either all be at each other's throats on this raft. And this is a raft.
Where was the raft located? Like, you know,
it went transatlantic. It went from
wow.
It went from like England to the Bahamas or something like that.
Holy
so
shit,
but it floated. It was a big metal.
Same route Jesus and Columbus took.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's a big metal raft, right? So he brought all these people together, and he was also on the boat taking notes. And he was like, any moment now, they'll start killing each other, So there's just an array of people on there. Turns out they all hated him, and they all became the best friends in the world
To hate him.
because he thought
All you need is one person to bind a bunch of people together to hate.
Well, yeah. But see, the thing was, they didn't start hating him until the very end when he started feigning sickness because he wasn't getting the results that he was looking for.
So he was trying to. So he was skewing the research.
He was trying to add drama.
What he would do is he'd take a note, or he'd take a questionnaire every day. He'd be like, if you could fuck anyone on the boat, who would it be? If you could kill anyone on the boat, who would it be?
And it was a him every day.
So then, once they weren't at each other's throats, he would go, all right, come here. This is what Kelly said. Kelly said she would kill you. And then she was like, yeah, I was feeling bad the other day. And the guy would be like, oh, I forgive you. So all these people sitting on a boat face to face.
Does it say by the bell Kelly was on there?
All this stuff gets worked out. You get one little incel online. And he's like, this satanic bullshit, fuckers, all this. Like,
Man, you were dropped. That is your 4th F-bomb.
No, I meant to say I'm going to be all Fs today. So
I should be too.
Let's move on. Let's talk about bar stuff. We'll talk about all that
speaking
philosophic
of
stuff.
So birthdays this week due to some effing. Because that's how they got made.
I guess
It's not a best segue.
I guess
Beautiful
that's
segue.
true.
So happy birthday, first and foremost, this Friday to our boy, the one and only Russ Neely.
Oh, F
Hey.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. We'll all throw in one
He
for
is
that.
a original patron.
The original patron, him and V are the godfather of Patreon.
And he throws $30 a month, which isn't even
He's in his own ginger tier. We love it.
Top ginger tier. Yeah.
And speaking of people that don't
Happy
cry,
birthday, Russ. Thank you, man.
Happy birthday, Dustin Kinsner. He's worked with me at the Crab Shack. Listens to us. He's a school principal in a state.
In a state.
I'm
I'm in a state right now.
I think he lives in Atlanta, but I
being.
think he might have moved. Speaking of the Crab Shack, Chris Rappe, who doesn't work there anymore but used to. Happy birthday,
man,
Chris
I love
Rappe.
Chris, yeah.
Chris, great guy.
Happy birthday.
Speaking of people that like crabs, I don't know. Vince King.
This guy with the segues.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll describe his name as Vince King. So, Vince King, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Joseph Gorlaza Hakamaki. I can't get that last name right.
Johnny Grilled Cheese.
Johnny Grilled
From
Cheese.
the Breezy Cab on Tybee.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Yeah.
Yes. Whitney Lowry.
Thank you for getting me home safely, Whitney.
Whitney Lowry. Sean McNally. Speaking of people that need to ride home
Oh,
safe
yeah.
sometimes.
Sean
Mr.
McNally.
McNally.
Wow.
And people who give people a ride home safe. Dylan Patel.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dylan Patel.
Oh, happy birthday, Dylan.
Future
Well done.
mayor.
It's a good crew. We could use a future mayor right now. We won't get into much of that, but
So Dylan likes his toys. I'll show you a segue, motherfucker. Dylan likes his toys. Part of those being like jet skis and maybe like motorcycles and things like that. So last week we had a little wreck down here,
yes, we did have a
right down the street from my house. Which I have an ATM machine down here, which I deposit my cash in, and I went to drive to it, and I couldn't because this wreck took up the entire intersection.
Yes, so the intersection of South Campbell and Highway 80, where I was T-boned and car was totaled in 2018. Guy ran a red light. Him and his girlfriend were fighting. He was in a truck, and he ran the red light doing 45. I saw him coming, so I tried to turn away, which was fine. So he hit me and shoved my shoulder into my head, and so now I've got like compressed discs in my neck.
I'm
thanks,
impressed.
buddy.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so that sucked. Totaled my car. Threw my cocktail from the front seat all over the car.
Son of a bitch.
It was a Yeti like this, full emergency and Finlandia on the way to the beach.
Oh, wow, nice.
I mean, my buddy Kip.
Oh, you were on the way too, not from?
It's 2:00 in the afternoon on
man.
July. It was July 4th weekend.
Oh.
It was like the second.
Was it the same?
And so yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
It was
so
like a
so I-
3-year
so-
anniversary.
So I get hit.
That's a bad
Cocktail
spot.
goes over the car. All of the car. I think I told the story before. There's some guy walking through the crosswalk as it happens. He goes, "Hey man, are you okay?" I saw it was all his fault. He goes, I know you're Buckapoos. You're Clint, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you got any weed or anything you need to get rid of? Like, I'm like, I got you. And I'm like,
Wow.
good looking out, random guy I don't recognize at all.
And you wish you could be like, thanks, Jeff, but you don't know.
And I was like, dude, you're the shit. Sorry, I'm all discombobulated. I can't remember your name.
Yeah.
good excuse.
Oh, dude.
But I
That's the
didn't-
best time to have that.
All I had
excuse.
was a weed pen, and I was like, I'll be okay with this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be fine. But like,
can boof that.
But what a nice offer. And so the cops never even set foot in my car. They didn't ask about drinking. They didn't
So
question.
he stayed there.
The guy hung out for a little while, but like everybody walked at 80 East, like,
Yeah.
and the cops were just trying to get it out of the way because it was, and the guy was
It's
like,
a big intersection.
it's my fault because he hit a van with a handicap lift in it, and me.
Oh, wow.
And so he was
Wow.
like, it's my fault, and like they had been fighting.
Yeah.
He was sober, military guy, ended up being fine. All taken care of, but like it kind of crapped on my day because then I had to.
You think?
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Totaled my car. Thank God I had 2 cars. So totaled the car. Anyways, the same intersection. A man whose name we'll divulge later, last name Cooley, he was not cool, was going 69 miles an hour. All right.
Did you do your own research?
Yeah.
Is that true?
In a 30.
How many Quaaludes are there?
In a 30
Yeah.
on Wednesday afternoon, July the 6th.
Yeah.
So he is doing 69 and a 30 coming around Tybee. So the cops start chasing him. So he's trying to get away from the cops. He's on the south end of the island. So he's trying to get away. And in that, he runs the red light at 80 and Campbell on his motorcycle with his passenger girlfriend. When he gets hit, he and her are both ejected from the motorcycle, as it happens when you're going 70 and hit a car.
You can hit a pebble on a motorcycle and you're being ejected.
Yes. So as he gets ejected, he runs, leaving her there. Not checking on her, takes off.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
So
Yeah.
he runs, apparently, rumor has it, to a local bar, we'll call it Puckahoo's, goes to the bar.
Calls his friends, right?
Someone said,
Someone picked him
one
up.
of our ex-guests, the last one, I don't mention his name,
Yeah.
said that he was at the bar hitting on some girl. I think he was just hitting up a friend to get a ride home.
Yeah.
And somebody got him off of Tybee onto the next
Onto Whitmarsh,
to Whitmarsh,
right?
yeah, to the next island where I may or may not live. And so he called to report his motorcycle stolen.
Classic.
Smart.
Great
Classic.
move
Classic.
for this guy of this name. So he returned to some residence, calls in. It's like, my motorcycle's stolen. They're like, oh, is it? Because guess what? It's not. Chad.
Oh, wow.
His name is Chad. So they have the Tybee Island hostage negotiator. I didn't know we had one of those.
Shut up.
Yeah. I'm applying for a job next month.
So, but his girlfriend was in custody, or was she injured? Or
Well, she was in the ambulance because she was messed up.
Okay.
She was actually
She bounced really well.
She bounced. Yeah, she bounced a
when
lot.
I got there, all I saw was a helmet. I
She
thought
dates-
dude's head came off.
She dates a Chad, so she bounced pretty well.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So
She could take
the
a-
hostage negotiator
Dated.
agreed the cops would come get him from the residence and bring him back to Tybee. He was arrested for speeding, reckless driving, fleeing, attempting to elude, hit and run, obstruction, and false report of a crime. So, Chad Cooley, you don't
You know what
you
his-
don't F
You're not
up, Chad.
You know what his mugshot looks like?
It
My
looks-
picture of Bug Bite.
Yeah,
It looks
yeah.
like Bug Bite's mixtape cover. It's got
It also looks like he looks at another guy we know from Tybee, and I was like, is that? No, it's not. Okay, good. But like,
I was like, that person seems really
he
familiar.
looked very familiar, but he just had
then
sunburn.
He
and-
turns out not. I mean, there's a lot of people that
the
look
fact that
chatty.
he ran and got all the way to Huckapoo's, and the cops didn't go. Where would you go if you ran? North away from this accident.
I didn't know he went to Huckapoo's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rumor has it.
and Lars helped him. You said
I didn't say Lars.
so. Lars plays a huge part in my Darren of the week
Oh, good. Well,
coming up in the second half, obviously.
but yeah. So thanks,
Yeah.
Chad, for being a Chad.
You know
Chad.
what? I had a couple Chads at work that work with me.
Pro's not a fan of people that do motorcycle accidents.
I am not. Interesting
Yeah.
side note. They fucking suck.
You know what else fucking sucks, Fro? When you walk into the walk-in
Yeah.
and you slip
Ooh.
on very wet ground, and then you look up right above
Someone
where
else's tears.
right above where the wet ground is, and there are 19 empty cans of Twisted Teas which have been shotgunned by the employees.
In the
no.
cooler? Shotgun
no.
outside, you stupid motherfuckers.
All right, so this is how
It's
I
gonna get
approached.
sticky in there.
This is how I approached this situation. I walked in, I
With a gun?
slipped. Luckily, there was a keg right there, so I didn't rip my ACL out. My foot, I just stubbed my toe.
that feeling of that first slip in a restaurant. You're right. Am I? Is
horrid.
this over?
You ever been on a scaffold real up high, and if you step down 1 inch, it feels like 10 feet?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the same as the slip. So I calmly walked into the kitchen. I was like, "Hey, Mike, you've been shotgunning Twisted Teas, right?" He's like, "Yeah, bro." And I was like, "Tyler, you shotgunning Twisted Teas too, don't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "If I slip and fall on that shit and I hurt myself, I'm fucking both of you up." And then
And the kitchen goes quiet.
the room got real quiet.
That
Yeah, I bet it did.
changed the whole.
You didn't get beat by a man with a
And,
crutch.
and then Tyler goes, "Oh, yeah, that's my bad. I'm really sorry." And then Mike goes, "Man, I don't spill nothing." I was,
You don't spill nothing?
Here's
Look, you can shotgun as clean as you want to. You're spilling
it's going all
I'll
over
tell you
the
what.
place.
All right, so I was like, I got pissed, and I
I've
went,
seen a few do it clean, and I'm like, I'm impressed. But the thing is, not all of you are.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
maybe not the first round.
Here's the thing. Not only that, when I go to pick up a few of them just to get them out of there because I hate having dirty shit
they're
around
not
me.
all they're not all dumped out.
No, and guess what happens? You pick up the can,
Now
and
you-
it dumps out of the hole that they
Yeah.
poked into it.
Now you've got Twisted Tea on your arm and the floor.
Old Twisted Tea, which is solidified in the sugar.
It's not much better than new Twisted Tea.
So then I went and found Edo because I know he's a part of it. I was like, Edo, come here, man.
He's the voice of
'Cause
reason.
I praise in public, scold in private. You know, I was like, Edo, come here. I was like, if I fucking slip on a goddamn Twisted Tea, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Just give Paxton 30, and we'll scratch him off.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck a lot tonight. I told you.
Whoa!
I told you I was finishing. So yeah. So there. So
Content blue balls.
so
will make you
here's
do
the
that.
thing. If you're
Get it
gonna
all out.
shotgun, and by the they went through 2 12-packs of them. I was like,
And
y'all
they're not
better.
paying for those either.
I was about to say, y'all better start bringing y'all's own fucking Twisted Teas in because like,
Otherwise, you're gonna get hit with the Twisted Tea.
yeah.
You should have threatened him with one.
Oh damn!
You should bring a tall boy in.
I should. I'll bring a tall boy
Or a
next
24?
time. And I'll be like, say the N word again. You say what all the time?
Yeah, yeah. And when you wrap it, I don't want you to say it.
So let's if we're gonna continue on with the fucks, if you don't mind, Clint.
I guess so. I mean, hey.
So
I'm running out of ink over here.
here's a, I mean, you might as well just put.
Speaking of fucks, Grant's going to be here at the end of end of July. Just want to bring that up again. If you want to see Grant in the podcast,
Speaking of fucks, Sean Gillen, who is the Tybee city manager, we'll talk about it a little more
Oh,
later.
that fucking guy.
okay,
This guy
let's fuck
fucking
this
sucks.
motherfucker.
All right, so I was at work
First
the
gonna
other
hurt his
day,
wrist.
and there was a councilman, and he's one of the good ones. You know?
There's two that I respect enough.
Yeah.
and one that I actually love.
Yeah, I like this guy, but Eric Thomas, the owner of Huckapoos.
Hold on. His name is Derek Donis.
He was giving this guy the fucking business. He's like, look, man, if they start passing law, if the city manager, this fucking douchebag who bankrupted the last town he was in,
Yeah.
he's basically the mayor of Icetown in the last place that he was in. Ooh. He's a fuck up. So Eric was like, if people can start making rules without having it go through council, like Eric was giving this dude the business, and the guy was like, hey man,
I'm on your side.
But when Eric gets fired up, so if you don't know what's happening, and if you're not from here, you don't give a shit.
They're
But
basically targeting Huckapoos.
but this matters in the broader sense because they're targeting
if Paxton
Huckapoos.
can't make money, we're stop.
We're done.
So you better.
We
not vote for
need
city
a lot
council.
more patrons. So what's happening is they're targeting
Subscribe to Patreon.com/Behind the Podcast.
they're targeting Huckapoos on Tybee because I thought Heather texted me. She said we're not going to be able to have music after midnight. I thought it was
on weekends.
yeah, or ever.
Yeah.
Or at 10 o'clock on the weekdays.
Weekends, yeah.
So I thought this had went through the council or whatever. It turns out it was just the fucking douchebag F word.
Why stop now?
Not fuck.
The other F word?
Yeah. City manager.
Fagé.
Yeah. City manager. He's sitting at Huckapoos. And he goes, hey, Eric, what you going to do when I start shutting you down at midnight whenever you have live bands? And
I would have rock bottomed him for Eric.
And if you don't, I'm going to take your business license away. Eric was like, they had to pretty much drag him away innocent. You know, Eric would fuck that dude up.
Hell yeah.
No, all right.
Eric could fuck most people.
Interesting side
Let's
note.
clear this up. Eric would fuck most people.
Yeah.
There would not be enough DNA left to identify that fucking guy.
That is an interesting side note.
Yeah.
So we'll get a little
Here's
more.
the thing: is Eric could literally walk to anyone in the bar and be like, "I'll give you nothing. Go kill that man." And like that, if he just was
Done.
like, boy,
Done.
he could do that with the whistle from West Side Story.
Yeah.
And he would just be gone.
If you
But-
target the most philanthropic
Yeah.
number one owner,
That's the thing. If you don't live here, you don't notice. Huckapoos is where every charity event on Tybee ends.
Oh, yeah.
Huckapoos, Eric gets on the mic. They raise money. Eric organizes. Spence. He is the most philanthropic person in the county.
Eric has
for sure.
100 kids because he takes care of every.
Yes.
Everybody's kid.
And he helps raise all the money. He does all the stuff. He dresses up as Santa Claus, goes into dumpsters.
Heather.
Same
Same.
way. They
She
both,
organizes
yes,
everything.
with the poker run. She helps us organize poker run. They do everything they can for this time. That's why Tybee is so great with the locals, because people like Heather and Eric.
The
Without
Pope
a
is
Heather and Eric,
considering them both for sainthood.
Yes.
I mean, it's.
but
yeah.
the city manager is the opposite.
The
Yeah,
city
yeah.
manager is a fucking
He's the
douchebag.
Darren of the year forever
Yes.
until he's gone.
Yeah.
So,
But he's appointed by the city council.
right.
I
But
think an interesting response to that would have been
Interesting
Eric to
side
go, I could have you fucking killed for half a pizza and a 6-pack of PBR.
And 2 Twisted Teas.
if that. No, you'll be killed with the twisted
Twisted
tea.
Teas is beat to death with Twisted
So we're gonna do an
can't
update.
find the weapon.
We're gonna do an update for anyone who is local a little bit down the line whenever it does happen, because this does have to come in front of council.
Yeah, they can't. He's trying to backdoor. He canceled this week's meeting because of all the angst going on because he's afraid, as he should be, of pitchforks and fire, because that's what will be coming soon.
Hey, man, I'm out here in the streets, motherfucker. I don't care
If he was
about
smart, he would have kept this week because it's raining and you can't do the fire in the rain.
Right.
But I'm smart. I'll put a fire tomorrow.
Interesting side note, there's certain accelerants that do last through. that do last through.
Side note,
a
I'm not
little
gonna
bit.
fire
have the
under-
list.
Jeffro is very well aware of this.
Yeah,
I have the list.
Yes, look, I'm a something of a scientist
The
myself.
manual.
So speaking of things that
You're right. We're gonna start off calm, and this
Yeah,
has been
yeah.
nothing.
Speaking
close
of things
to
that fucking suck, I woke up today and I could not open my right eyeball because of the juice.
still the juice.
Yeah, so
The
I
side
You missed
juice?
last week's 15-minute podcast.
so I went to I went and got a bunch of creams and I got some.
Did you try pouring twisted tea in your eye?
Oh man, I should have. Maybe that was the origin.
That was precipitous of it all.
And but I thought, like the really old hairy dogs, like if the
Hairy dog!
the smallest dogs end up being like 14 years old.
Hairy dogs,
and they always have the longest eye booger.
Oh yeah, the
Every
little trail.
day I'm at work.
Like an
tearing.
Asian guy with his one hair out of his mole. It's like this long.
Interesting side note: that is luck in the Asian community. If
The
you
one
have a
hair?
hair coming, I learned this
You
when I
can
was
floss
over in
with it. It's
Vietnam.
even better luck.
All right, so I have one on a mole on the back of my neck.
You let it go?
Yeah, lucky boy.
I thought that was your hair.
You're a lucky boy.
I've got a secondary mullet.
You got a double mullet.
It's a secondary
Kentucky
mullet.
backup waterfall.
Party farther
Kentucky
in the
drainage
back.
ditch.
The Kentucky drainage
The Kentucky
ditch.
drainage ditch.
That's what they call Sean Gillen's mouth.
Oh,
Let's go.
Burn.
Roast,
Loose.
man.
Look.
This
we're-
dude's too easy to roast.
We'll bring
though.
you on the podcast. We're not afraid of you.
yeah.
From behind the Body Slam cast.
Dude, let's just have, man, if they just had a Jello wrestling match.
Heather, Heather.
I was about to say Sean versus Heather. Heather would twist him up
Oh my God.
like a Amy's soft pretzel, let me tell you.
Oh.
She'd
Speaking of-
salt him and fuck him right up.
he would be praying for a finish with the twisted tea. Please.
There'll be no
dear
blue
God,
balls in that
somebody
contest.
finish
Hurry
me.
up with the twisted tea, please. Would you just finish?
Speaking of twisted tea, I've got a
That's
twisted
what she
tea,
said.
and I think we're about there anyway. So
Oh man, I was gonna take it slow, but let's see where we're at.
we're at 28 minutes.
It says 30 minutes.
Wow,
Okay.
that's pretty good of a time. You know why?
Because that's how your bladder goes off every 30 minutes.
Hey, I want to say before we go on break,
Yeah.
and I'll do my quick 5 minutes of fun. But Fro and I went and saw Thor: Love and Thunder, and then I was coerced into seeing it less than 48 hours later.
Non-consensual.
Coerced. No, it was not consensual at all, but it was a good, funny movie. I made it through both of them without having to pee. However, the second time, I knew when to go pee and didn't, and was like, why am I sitting through this scene again?
I was about to say
But
you
it was
didn't even have to use the when to pee app. You had already seen the movie.
I did it before just to make sure, but they were pretty much correct. But it's hilarious. It's as funny as Ragnarok. Not as much action, but it was a very funny
Did
movie.
Taika Waititi direct it?
He did. He what he did. And but there is just some hilarious moments in Norse mythology. Thor has two goats whose names I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. It's
No, try.
74 consonants and two vowels.
I'm Danish and I can't pronounce them.
But in the Marvel comics, those goats go "Rah!" the entire time, and so it's like a Family Guy joke where they scream when
Yeah.
he gets them, and it's like this is like, every time they show them, they just scream, and they're like, this is so annoying, and then they're like, oh, it's actually funny again because it goes back around.
So they're like every Saturday customer I have.
Yeah. What kind of shots do you have?
So coming back in the second half,
but it was a good movie.
coming back in the second half, we'll talk about my 4 people that were on 11.
Oh.
Their voices, I mean. We'll see you right after this quick break.
All right.
Are we rolling?
We are.
Because I want to return his phone call.
Put it on the center camera then, producer.
Bloosh. There you go.
And welcome back.
Welcome back.
So I teased this right before the break, and I just want to get it out before I forget about it, even though it's in my notes. But I'm me. That's just what I am.
Oh.
So I went to the liquor store today to pick us up some actual Finlandia.
Some actual Finlandia.
And so I walk in, and an older lady was walking in ahead of me, and it's raining down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an older lady, right? She opens the door. There's a rug there for you to,
Wipe your feet.
Wipe your feet.
this bitch,
Mm-mm.
walk straight in, does not wipe her feet,
Oh,
which
my.
it's really unnerving to me, especially people from that generation.
Yeah, you're going to break your hip, lady.
Before there's people in line The first, she goes, "Hey, give me that big bottle right there on the right, the Sauvignon Blanc." No regard to any
other human being.
human being in there. So then I was like, "Oh, that's fun. Let me just find this Finlandia really quick." And there's this guy behind me, and you ever met a person whose voice is on 11, no matter where or what? He goes, "Hey, man, I'm looking for that peanut butter whiskey right there. Hey, buddy, what you doing? You getting some cigarettes, huh? That's at Parliament. That's some partying cigarettes right there. What you got? Finn." I was like, I'm glad she kind of cut in front of you and yelled. And so this dude, it reminded me of the SNL sketch. He was like, "I cannot control the volume or tone of my voice."
So it was Temple Grandin?
So this dude, he goes, "I went to AJ's today and had wings. I was surprised that their wings were so big. We've been coming here for 4 years." And I was like, my roommate works at AJ's. Do you think I'm going to say anything about that right now? This dude he goes, "You go ahead in front of me, buddy. I'm still looking for what I want. I've got the peanut butter whiskey in my hand right here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get anything else." So I had this flashback to like a week before that. So there's a guy I know, real cool dude, works down here. I'm not even going to pretend to fake his name because I don't want to dox his friends, but he's got a couple that he hangs out with all the time, a married couple. And the wife has 1 volume. So I'm working last Tuesday.
Is it the low volume?
It is not the low.
I don't like the way
I'm trying to low volume right now because I'm trying to find a balance here. So I walk into work and I hear her the moment I walk in. Her husband literally is sitting next to her. She's like, "Paul, you know what? I'm gonna get me one of them rum runners again. They make them good rum runners, Paul. Hey, listen, you put rum in it and then they put juices in it and then they shake. Paul,
it makes me run, Paul."
I was like, I looked to see if he had a hearing aid or anything like that. He doesn't have one yet, but he's probably going to need one. So then I had another flashback to this couple that was there a week before, and everything they said to anyone, no matter how close or how far away they were.
So it was volume 11?
And it's like, so
they had some content.
You can do that sometimes. You're not at 11 all the time.
No, but sometimes I get to 11.
Here's what Clint does sometimes. He'll walk over to me. He's like, "Hey, Paxton, see that guy over there with the stupid haircut?" I'm like, Clint, he's like 5 feet away. He's like, "Yeah, that idiot."
but other times I do this. And if you're not watching, you should be. I'll scratch my head and point with my elbow. We call it the teammate game.
It's real slick when you point with your elbow and go, "Check out that chick's tits."
I don't do that.
Have you turned and looked at her tits? The one with the red shirt on. Yeah, the one with the giant tits.
The one staring at me right now.
I don't do it with tits. I just do it with douchebags. With tits, I'm like, "You see some titties over there, man?"
No, you
don't. Sometimes I don't realize this loud in my voice.
You hide yelling about titties about as good as you hide people's names when you try and make up fake names for them.
You and I love fake names and tits.
That's a bro Blandrum over there. He's a pro juicer. Like, he makes good juices.
Sorry, sometimes I have blue balls.
So doesn't it irk you? People from any generation walk into the door. If it's raining, wipe your goddamn feet, man.
Wipe your feet and close the door.
And
So where I work, close the fucking door.
Yeah.
It's an old building.
Yeah.
It's a 24-foot tall door. It's a little hard to open. But the people that if you went to their house and left the door open, they would lose their mind and be on a volume 11, leave the door wide open.
Right.
And they're standing there. I'm like, "Hey, get that door for me."
It's that weird double standard.
It's 105 outside.
Yeah.
Or they just walk out and leave it open, which gives me time to sarcastically go up and go, "I'll get the door for you," and close it. And the table next door is like, I'm like, yeah, I got it, whatever.
Yep. That's the same as someone comes up like, "Hey, Bud Light." I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?"
Or I'll be at the computer. I can see the bar door, and they'll come in with the bar door open. I'm like, "Hey, door," and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Close it." And just yell across the bar, and they're like, "Oh."
That's a good time to be at 11.
So speaking of people that are 11 a lot,
Yeah.
There's just one particular kind of person that's always at 11.
Oh, are we doing it that fast?
I don't know. I just was ready for it.
Let's go.
Oh, shit. It's the Karen of the week. It's the Karen of the week.
Gosh. Because I don't know how long the addition to the Karen's going to be.
Why did you do that, Karen?
God damn it, Karen. So I want to start with what I thought was going to be a Darren, and I may have brought this up last week, but I don't remember because the blackout.
Redemption.
But
I
it
like
was,
it.
but instant redeem. So this table sits down, and they're all definitely country. I'm like, okay, so 4 Coors Lights, got it.
I heard you going country. I was like, does he know he's going country? Okay, good. Okay.
Look at them titties, Paxton. Look at them country ass titties.
Look at them titties.
God damn, they're hanging to the floor.
Hell.
So they sit down, and they are very, very country. Long-haired man wearing a NASCAR hat. Usually I'm like, hey, take your hat off. But his ponytail's through the back of his hat, so it's like it's part of his uniform.
That would be a whole production.
Yeah, so I'm going to let it go. He's got NASCAR. He's got his Clint Bowers or whatever shirt on, or what Rocky Bowers.
Rocky Boye.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is going to be, they order the cheapest bottle of Pinot we've got. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. Then he orders a bottle of Chardonnay.
Well, them ordering wine's already kind of.
Yeah. And he goes, I'm like, you put it on ice? He goes, no, leave it out. It's already too cold. I'm like, it is already too cold. He goes, yeah, it's supposed to be about 62, 64 degrees. I'm like, I love you. So we start talking wine. This guy's pulls out the phone, shows me a picture, 550 bottle wine cellar.
Wow.
I mean, and he and I are shooting the shit about wine all night. I'm talking to the table next to him. Now, he's the kind of guy that's not going to go, well, they're far away. I'm not going to talk about this. He goes, yeah, hey, look, he was talking about with wine over here. Oh, that's a great Zinfandel. He's helping me sell a $75 bottle of wine at the table. And I'm like, and because he starts talking, and they're like, sir, protect us.
I would be very confused.
Yeah, they were very confused. I was confused in the beginning.
So do you think he just preferred that style of Pinot or whatever, the cheap one that he ordered?
Yeah. And
I get that.
He wanted to start like the bottle of Chardonnay was $80, so like he wanted some good wine. He wanted to start off light, but and ended up tipping me 20% on the bill and 20% more on the dollar bills.
Very nice.
And I was like,
hey,
favorite table. He's like, hey man, we'll
nice.
come back and see me. So much great fun. I had a good time.
See,
man.
that's the thing. People think that they have to over tip or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just now if you suck,
Yeah.
you're already probably not going to tip very well anyways.
I'm fighting for 15.
Exactly. But if you're a cool customer and we have a good time, I don't expect more than 20. I'm just like just the standard is fine. I'm not trying to, like ream like squeeze every drop.
I'm
out
just
of
trying to get what I deserve at times.
you. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get.
Well, speaking of that, so I have a not a redemption, but it's sort of like I have a lot of Karens and Darrens, so we're just
you have a gang.
yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
I got
we'll throw a bad one. We'll come back to a good one. We'll bad, good, bad.
So no, I'm gonna do a good one right now. Well,
Oh,
it's
okay.
bad and good. So this guy comes
It's a
up.
Karen.
This is a Darren. He comes up. He's like, "Hey man, your phone's off the hook." I was like, "Yeah, it's Saturday, 8:00. We're super busy."
Is it payphone off the hook? That's the best phone to have because you can see it the most.
No, I don't ever take the executive order to pull the phone off the hook because
not you're outside now.
no, that's not. Yeah,
When you're inside, I
when
think
I'm-
you would clock in and
Well,
take it
when
off
I'm
the
in,
hook.
no, so I read if I'm working inside, I read the kitchen. If they're getting backed up, I'll just pull it off for like 10 minutes just to let them catch back up. I don't tell them,
Yeah.
But so I was working outside and we were just too busy, so they took the phone off the hook. So this guy comes up. He wasn't super perturbed or anything, but he's like, "Hey man, your phone was off the hook." I was like, "Yeah, we're super busy." He's like, "Well, could I just place a to-go order with you?" I was like, "Sure." He starts reading off. He's like, "I want one pie of this, one pie."
But
of
he was
that,
ready
one-
at least.
He was ready. One pie of this, one pie of that. One. All right, eight pizzas, and then he goes, "Let me get 13 house salads."
Holy shit.
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, "All right, yeah." So I put the order in, and there's a couple that had just walked up sitting there, or that had just gotten there, and they watched the whole thing go down. So I go put the order in. I was like, "Hey, it's gonna be about hour 15 minutes, something like that."
Yeah.
He's like, "Cool, man. I'm just going to head out." I was like, "Before you go, I need you to go ahead and pay for it because it's a huge order." Or whatever.
Yeah.
So
What's that, like $200?
$195 was what it ended up being.
Damn, I'm good.
So he does it. I start getting to the other couples. I just grab the ticket and stick it into my pile, whatever. 10 minutes passed. I was like, "Oh, if the guy tipped, however much he tipped, I want to give it to the kitchen because that sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I walked it into the kitchen, I was like, "Hey, sorry guys." I looked at that fucking ticket. He had written a tip on there and then scratched it out,
Oh.
and then no tip.
What was it? Could you see what the written in tip was?
No,
So he extra scratched
black
out?
lined
Oh,
it.
that's not
It
good.
looked like a Sharpie, but it was a very thin pen. So
Like
so
CIA level of
yeah,
redaction.
Yeah.
that is a true redaction.
Redacted it.
That
Yeah.
is Watergate redaction.
Oh, yeah.
So so the couple next to him was like, "Hey, could we order some food real quick?" I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Order now, and I'm gonna stick that in before his ticket."
Yeah, before Darren's, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, thank you so much, man." I was like, "Hey, no, that's nothing above me. Like, that guy sucks." I didn't tell him that he didn't tip or whatever. So I go and jam their ticket in. When I walk back, the new couple, hands me a $100 bill. He's like, "I appreciate that." I was like, "No, I don't." No. He goes, "If you don't take that $100 bill, it's don't sit there." I was like, well, I'm gonna take it then.
Yeah.
So what they ordered, they also ordered a pizza and
That was to pay for their food and the rest.
right. So I kept that change and I kept it on the side because I was gonna sneak it back to them whenever their food came out. So I tried to do that.
Put it in the pizza under the sauce.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ruin their money. So come back and I try and slip it to him. He goes, "Come on, man." So I was like, he's like, "If you don't take it, I ain't going to." I was like, "Man, I was like, you're good." I turn around. By the time I turn back around, the $40 or the $64 isn't there anymore. It's $100 bill again.
Oh, I love this guy.
I was like,
Damn decent.
I was like, my fucking man. And he was like, dude, I see what's going on here, right? So they got to-go food as well, but they ended up chilling out for a little bit, and the guy came back. So 13 house salads at Huckapoo's. It was two pizza dough boxes. I had to pile all these things in. We had a train of people. I'm handing them all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of food.
And as he's going away, I go, "The kitchen thanks you for your tip." He didn't hear me.
Oh, he heard you.
Oh,
He heard you.
Oh, he heard me.
He heard you.
Yeah, so I took 20 of it and threw it back to the kitchen. 20 of the guy who didn't buy
Of the
it.
$100.
Yeah, you know?
So nothing. So
Wow.
Darren didn't redeem himself. Darren's still a Darren.
No, Darren's still a Darren.
Darren got redeemed by a good soul.
And the guy, he and his wife, they literally bought 2 pizzas and
What's
3
the opposite
drinks.
of a Darren? A Nerid?
Whatever that guy's name was. Because
It wasn't Chad.
But here's the thing. So there's a lot of times where, now he didn't know about the no tip situation. He just saw that, like,
He was just honoring good business.
He was like, hey, this dude's being cool, whatever. We see that it's busy. Like, he got our food out pretty quick. And something I don't normally like is someone being like, hey, you should tip this person, you know, because it never works out well. Let me handle the.
I'm going to go ahead and name the anti-Darren a Russ.
Oh, a Russ is the anti-Darren.
Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, Russ. Happy
love
birthday.
you.
There we go.
So do you have a negative?
I have a negative. Now, this is rare for me.
What?
Last Thursday, when we were going to try to do our podcast and we got blacked out by God, Jesus, and Satan,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really have a Karen. And earlier in the week, on 4th of July day, on the 4th day itself, on that Monday,
yeah.
someone, there's a Tybee Island happenings page, which I never go to and get into a fight with anybody on.
Never. He never endlessly comments on Facebook.
So
posts.
someone comments, hey, we're headed to town in a few hours. What's the weather going to be like?
Oh.
So as you
Wide
can both
open.
see,
What kind of shots do you have?
what kind of shots do you have? And so at the time, I had content blue ball, so I needed to get something out there.
Oh, man.
And so I'm like,
Skeet, skeet.
I
He
put,
hasn't followed anyone on Facebook for so long. He's like, now it's time.
I'm like, weatherchannel.com/dumb shit / come on fool or whatever. Because I know
Yeah.
the person that runs the Tybee Island happenings page is a very old and dear friend of mine. And as long as I'm reasonably a dick, she's not going to kick me off the page.
Slightly dickish.
Yeah.
No problem.
Just a little dick, not too hard, just a little bit, not limp, but like, halfway. Whiskey dick and a condom. I'm okay.
So same day as the Darren redemption, the by proxy redemption, it's pouring down rain a lot of the day. And people were outside like, hey, where can I sit where it's not raining?
Yeah, so this is along the same lines. Like,
I was like, so inside, number one. That would be one place.
Yeah.
Number two, if you look up,
Yeah.
you can see where there's
not rain?
cover. Then, like Jesus and Satan coming through, and this is definitely a JT move. One of those people was sitting at the round part of the bar.
oh, where it comes
Where the water feature is.
A gust of wind came through.
and then
Dumps it on them.
So if you don't know Huckapoo's,
Yeah.
it's covered in sails.
Sails, yeah.
And so some of those sails have holes because they're old sails. And every now and then when the wind blows, the water shifts and it, as Bro said, it's a water
So
feature.
Lars
It's a
was
water
sitting
feature.
there, and I go, that was JT from the grad. Like, I don't believe in
Totally was.
like
JT was
afterlife.
like, splash them.
JT was
100%.
like,
JT cheers all over them.
JT went flute.
He
and
had,
hit
he had
that
those
sail.
content blue balls right on there.
Bloosh.
I was
if I-
like, that is JT from beyond.
So,
right
Clint, if
there.
I may finish my story.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, it's great. I've been
I
waiting.
thought you were done.
I wouldn't use that line. Yeah, that was it. That was the whole Karen. So,
She said something on Facebook. That was it.
and I made that one comment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
Fucking Karen.
Yeah, you think I made that one
What's
comment?
the weather? Fuck you, Karen.
Fuck you, Karen.
Karen.
Oh, so I gotta back up to my notes here because it was just
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
who cares? So it was. I'm like, I make that comment. Heading to type you, is the weather good?
Or what's the weather?
Yeah, so I put my exact thing was
boobs good?
weather.app.for-dummies, which got 37 likes and laughs. And we'll just call her Willow, 'cause that was her goddamn name, who has 62 Facebook friends, so Willow, extra popular. She says, my apologies, I was coming from a different state. Didn't think it was stupid to ask locals that they know the Weather Channel. Wasn't right on my location, so I didn't want to go there if it was raining too. The verbiage in this is all terrible. Thought that question was not stupid. It had to be asked. Why comment and not just ignore it if you thought it was going to be mean? Why be? I'm reading verbatim. Why be mean if your friends come to visit? Don't they ask? And
okay, go ahead.
So I said, it took you longer to post this than to search for the weather anywhere in the world. It's not my fault you don't understand technology, but mostly don't get mad because it's rather hilarious. I'm not mad. You really didn't read my reply. The Weather Channel I looked up for my area was incorrect. That's why I asked locals, whatever, Karen. I have now been called a Karen. I was willing to let this go.
You should have. You should have let it go there, man. Let her win that one.
But, honey, if anyone is a Karen, it's you, 100%. I'm something of an expert in this field of your idiocracy. And subsequent reply has qualified you as a card-carrying member of Karens. I read your reply, however, you were too dense to understand mine. You can input any location into a weather app by simply typing it into the search bar. It allows you to search outside of your current region for this purpose.
See,
However, you were in fact a Karen, and now you're the Karen of the week. Congrats! Tune into this week's Tag from Behind the Barcast. You hear how dumb you've become.
All right, so let me Karen advocate here. That was a little.
That was a little much.
A little saucy.
I'm poking.
I'm not even saying it's a little much, like because of her feelings or whatever. Like that's a lot of your time wasted.
It was raining. I was bored.
Look, you're my friend, and I love you.
So
I'm not giving you shit.
Another person calls me
why
a
waste
Karen.
your time with these people?
And I said, hi, Sharon. Karen is a reactionary description. One is I'm sure you've heard a ton. That means a Karen responds to a comment or to an action. A Karen is not called a Karen because of her initial action. It's usually Karen reacting something.
So who's the first to react?
And
that's why she
guy.
calls you the Karen.
That's why I'm the
I
Karen.
think that was slightly accurate.
Yeah, I guess I got myself there.
I like this, though. I like this.
But, so she responds and goes, that's fine. I'll mention you on my 4 podcasts I do a week. And I said, you have 62 Facebook friends. I don't think anybody cares what the hell you have to say, Karen. I said, next time try asking Google, Siri, Alexa, anyone the weather where you're going.
This has gone a long
because
way.
you can.
She's like,
Look,
listen to my podcast. It's called The Satanic Guidestones.
All you have to do is go, hey, whatever phone you use, what's weather time you out in 2 hours?
I get that. But the thing is, so I've looked at the radar, and I live down here, and I'm like.
I'm not discussing the radar. I'm saying, what is the weather going to be in a few hours? You ask your fucking phone, and your phone tells you.
I got you.
You don't look, when you're on Top Yow Happenings and going, hey, what's the best place to get fried shrimp? Great question. Hey,
I got you.
Where did all the goddamn bathrooms go?
But it's not.
No.
But it's not as if that she was committing like some cardinal sin just by asking. I mean, it's ill-advised and dumb.
All I said was,
but at least she didn't go.
I
Hey,
just made one little comment about the weather app. That's all I did.
with a / for dummies.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And I want to say, I'm not going to mention the admin, but they liked my comment. Okay, so look, and I was going to leave it at that. But her comment that she made to me, her first response, she also, I wasn't the only person to make fun of her. I was just the first one. Everybody else's response that she didn't like, she copied and posted the same comment. And I'm like, you can copy and paste, but you can't look up the weather.
So she was able to copy and paste her own comment.
But not look up the weather in time.
But not.
She was from,
man.
she was driving here from Indiana. I'm not saying people are dumb in Indiana. I'm just saying it's Southern Ohio.
Okay, I got you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you there.
I mean, look, here's the thing. The only reason I'm even a little bit triggered is because my online presence. I don't.
What online presence?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm your online presence.
I just don't. I don't care to
Once
interact.
it's Guidestones, you.
I don't, yeah. If it's Guidestones, I'm.
Okay, so you've got a negative Karen.
I've got a Darren.
You're just full of D's today.
I've got a crazy Darren.
There's all that content blue ball.
But as I finish, I don't like to argue with people online.
When I'm done, when I finish, I'm done arguing.
And I'm gonna finish tonight. I'm gonna tell you that. So, so this is a really good one. So, Saturday I go into work, and there's this gentleman there, and he seems kind of like. Not aggressive, but just like I get
tense?
a bad, tense, yeah, like kind of like on edge.
Hashtag.
So
w@tense.com.
I get a bad vibe off of him, but like 10 minutes later,
Age?
32.
Okay.
Muscular, ginger,
Uh-oh.
yeah, So
Tan or pale?
been to the beach 3 or 4 times this year.
He's probably upset the sun's
So-
hurt him.
So, but he left like 10 minutes after I got to work on Saturday. So, but I did get not a bad vibe. I just didn't like the vibe.
Like a
whatever.
roid vibe?
So kind of. So he leaves. Sunday I come into work, and the person who was working the bar during the daytime was serving this guy up and like had a little bit of hearts in her eyeballs for him, So because he's like,
Was her name Henna?
so no.
Sorry,
So he's he's a muscular, pretty good looking dude. So
Was he wearing a white beater that's super stretched out?
no, he had a long sleeve blue like fishing shirt on, but it was very form fitting.
Well, he's a ginger, so that
you
makes
could
sense.
you could see his
So he understands
pecs.
his skin content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's getting a little rambunctious, and every person that comes up, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" No one can walk up without having some sort of interaction with this guy.
Yeah.
So he
Some
turns.
Darren action.
I have a friend, Angelique, who's sitting there, and he turns over. He goes, "I met you yesterday." She goes, "No, that's impossible. I was at work yesterday, and I work downtown Savannah." He's like, "No, I met you yesterday." So it's getting to the point where I'm like, so then another person, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it's my other buddy.
He's by himself.
He's my.
That's never a good sign.
He's just looking for anyone to talk
A
to.
lonely
right?
ginger.
So I go back and talk to the person who was working during the day. I was like, "Will you come distract him for just a little bit, so
Show him a
that
titty.
like,
Come on, let's look at this.
so that my customers can walk up without being harassed by this guy?" And he's not bad intentioned. He's like
He's
basically
just trying to have a good time, but
He's
his,
basically
but his
harmless.
good time isn't the best good time. Everybody
his
else.
good time is ruining other people's good
Okay, yeah,
times
yeah.
because so then he turns his back to the bar. He's taking up 3 seats and he's got his
Oh,
elbows on the bar. And I'm like, if anyone walks up, no one's gonna walk up. I don't care about losing business in terms.
Was he
of like,
manspreading too?
I couldn't see from, but it was just it was aggressive, whatever. So then a guy comes up, he starts ordering stuff. He's like, "Hey, where are you from?" So this happened 3 times in a row.
That's what I'm praying for, Franklin.
3 different yeah, 3 different people came up, and once he had no sense of people being annoyed with him, but
A non-self-aware Darren?
it was crazy, right? But people would be like, "Hey, man, you're a little close. Like, you're cool. You're a little close to me. Like, just give me some space. Like, I'll talk to you, whatever."
Yeah.
And every time that someone would bring that sort of thing to him, he'd go, "Yeah, sorry, I just been on the base for like 6 weeks, man. And I just,
Oh, got to let you know I'm in the military. Gotcha.
Dropping that.
So he drops that. And hey, look, man, I get it.
We support our troops here. We've got one. He's a water
That's
troop.
what I'm saying, man. Like, there's nothing about that.
He's a
but,
sea
like,
daddy.
but pulling that, whenever you're not self-aware enough to know that these people are annoyed with you until they say, "Hey, maybe don't touch me. I don't know you. I'll talk to you." So then they'll start pulling the,
Yeah.
I've been on base, Hunter Army Airfield.
It was crazy.
And they're like, "Oh, well, thank you for your
I got
service."
PTSD from base.
They're like, "Thank you for your service, but I'm gonna get out of here." So this happens a couple times. So I tap him. I'm like, "Hey, man, just bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
People are just trying to chill and have fun, whatever."
Hey, you're kind of hot. Like, just chill out some.
So he gets. I was like, "Here, take this water." Like
Where did Heart Eyes girl go?
she left.
Because those Heart Eyes weren't
I
that
was like,
strong.
"Man, come on," because I told her I was like, "Hey, will you just distract him for a second?" She's like, "Yeah, I got you." Pew! She's gone. Right. So
I know who it was.
So
Thanks, Smoot.
So I
She
give him.
didn't do ginger.
He asked me for another beer. I was like, "Dude, man, you need to drink some water. Like, take a lap." He's like, You're probably right." I give him some water. He takes a lap. Family shows up and sits in all the chairs, and then and one of my buddies was still there. And he goes. He turns to the dad of the group. It was mother, father, and 2 young girls. No, this isn't the bad part. My buddy turns to him and goes, "You probably just saved all of our lives right now." And the dad,
God is supposed to save our lives.
and the dad was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. Just stay right here."
Those are your seats. I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah. So the family orders. The guy doesn't come back. I was just waiting for him to come back while his family was there, because then I would have the legit excuse to come from behind and be like, "Hey, do not lean on these people. This is a family
Yeah.
trying to sit here and have dinner." But he never came back during that time. The family gets up and leaves. He shows right back up. I was like,
Like he was watching from the back.
and he's got someone else's beer. It's not what he was drinking earlier, right?
He's found a beer.
So
Is it a red stripe? Was it Hunter's beer?
Yeah, it was. that would be some
man, you
karmic.
see my beer?
That would be
See my
karmic
beer?
retribution. So he comes back, and I was like, "Dude, man, like, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, man." He's like, "I'm gonna take another walk, whatever." So he walks away, and all of a sudden I start seeing like a little bit of commotion, whatever. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I walked inside. I was like, "Hey, the guy in the blue shirt, y'all aren't serving him, are you?" They're like, "No, we saw him
We
come.
cut him off yesterday.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
We saw. Well, I didn't serve him anything. they were like, yeah, we saw him coming from a mile away or whatever. So then Alex comes out. He goes, well, against my better judgment, I had to call the cops on this guy. I was like, blue shirt guy? He's like, yeah.
Blue shirt guy.
So I see him.
Free guy. That's
so
the
I
name
see
of
him
it.
over there,
Yeah, thanks.
and here comes Lars. Lars, like, I guess Lars is like.
Lars is the douche whisperer though. Lars can talk anybody down. He's smart. He's clever, and he can be like, and he can find the level your douche is at, and get you back to a level of like, just a little bit less douchey.
Which he attempted to do. So I see Lars walking this guy down the stairs, and the guy's amicable. The guy, he's not a bad dude.
He was just a fucked up dude.
Fucked up dude, completely unself-aware, and
if we all say fuck at the same time as cancel out the fuck
right
down?
before he right before he walked away the last time, someone, I forget what, I think it was Marissa. She came to pour a beer, and the guy was like, she's new.
Oh, I was like, wait.
He was like butt cheeks, and I just kind of, I was like, I turned my head not towards him, but I just turned my head
like you cock your ear like you're trying like a dog.
and he goes, oh, this guy, he probably hates me. I was like, were you talking about me? He goes, yeah. I was like, no, I'm just not thinking about you at all. Like, I don't feel anything about you. He's like, oh, damn, bro.
I thought we were cousins.
I was like, come on, man. Like, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
Don't assume that I think anything, because I don't.
I'm trying not to.
I don't think much of anything at all. So anyways,
much.
so Lars almost got this guy down the stairs. The cops roll in. This guy thinks it's a fucking breezy cab, and he starts tugging on the door.
No.
I want to go to jail
On the
so
cop
bad.
car?
I want to go to jail bad.
Lars is trying to stop him. He's trying to tug on this goddamn door so much that the cop had to whoop whoop and whip the lights
To get him off the car door.
He ended up getting a ride though.
To the gray bar?
A forcible ride?
It was a very expensive car ride.
No.
It was not $5 a ride?
And I was like, dude, man, it could have ended so much differently,
There
But
could have been a dog in that door.
the thing is, oh wow,
That would have been great.
Ooh.
Oh, the door's open. Ah!
if you're not self-aware, and the thing was,
If you're somewhere you're not from, or you don't go, if you're alone,
yeah,
if I go somewhere and drink alone, I never get, I get just one drink past driving.
would you be anywhere alone for 5 hours anyway? Like no matter what?
Just my house
That's what I'm saying.
or your window.
Yeah.
Look,
Definitely
if you don't know anyone in a town and you go out to a place,
You take it very easy.
you take it super easy.
And if you make a good friend somehow,
Cool.
you wait a few hours before you let
Yeah.
loose again.
But here's the thing: you don't attempt to make friends with every single person
Or get the back of
that
a cop car
passes by you
by accident.
or that. Yeah, so he's tugging on
But
the
he,
door.
but he thought it might have been a breezy, which means he's been here before.
Have some standards and,
Practices.
practices.
Well, I think someone had called the breezy for him, so he assumed that there was a cab coming. I mean, maybe there was a cab
Those
coming.
goddamn pink cop cars are
See,
confusing as
that's
hell.
the thing. I don't think he knew enough that the breezy was.
Well, actually, most cabs are old cop cars.
That's what I'm saying. They're all Crown
That's
Vics.
what
you know?
breezies are.
They put those eyelashes on the cop cars. It's confusing. So,
But
speak, so speaking of Karens and Darrens that I didn't meet on Facebook, I don't have anything. No, I'm just kidding. I've got a 6 top Karen. I don't know. Time is a mystery to this podcast now because of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, we're getting it all in now. Because,
I don't know if I told this
it's been
story
a few weeks.
my Karen 2 weeks ago. My 6 top sits down, and my buddy Marty goes, "Be careful with him." Did I tell this story?
I don't think so.
I hope
Yeah.
not.
Had he seen them before?
He waited on them at the Collins
Yeah,
Quarter.
I know it's late and I know you're tired, but man.
Well, it's not Collins Quarter. The other one.
man.
He waited on them
Had
at
the tea like you did.
there actually is a tea downstairs. If you want to go grab it?
I made it and then didn't drink it.
I'm gonna get that
It's
tea.
the
Go get it.
oolong. Yeah.
Go get your tea. All right. While he's gone, fuck.
I'm just going to mark them on the wall as I go down.
Down the stairs.
Hey, the tea bag is actually still in it.
Hey,
Hash
hey,
mark, hash
I,
mark,
I
hash
still
mark.
have my mom's old dry cleaning basket that when Charlotte was a child, she drew on with crayon. And it's got stick figure things on it.
Yeah.
And it was my mom's, and I'm frugal. When my mother passed, I
Yeah.
kept that same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that's my laundry basket, and it's still got
Yeah,
my
yeah,
sister's 5-year-old drawings on it because
I'm glad you said crayon because there's
crayon. What's the other one?
Because Edo at work he goes, "Oh, you drawing with a crown?"
Crown? A crown?
I was like, "You drinking Crown?" No,
Are you driving a Crown Vic?
Crown.
Crayon Vic?
He tried to get a Crown Vic. So 6 top Karen. Let's
6
hear
top
it.
Karens. They all sit down. There's 6 women, as I said.
Make sure that's on the center camera as Fro goes
It is.
downstairs
We're
to
good. We're
drink
good.
my tea.
We're good. And my buddy Marty, so Saran leaves Circa. He's my Georgia Bulldogs, my Marvel comic Star Wars guy. He's
Yep.
my go-to. Hey, seen this yet? Come on,
Yep.
watch it now. And Ron's like, I've got 2 kids and I manage a restaurant. Like, give me a couple of days. I'm like, I have nothing to do. Please watch this. And so this guy Marty gets hired. He's a big guy, pretty chubby, nice guy. Star Wars, Bulldogs, Marvel comics.
Oh, you're in love. You're in
Braves
love.
baseball.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Marty, I
You're in
love
love.
you.
Yeah.
And but doesn't drink, doesn't smoke weed, but got all that. So like Marty's my go-to. I like Marty. I trained Marty. He's a good guy, good heart. He was a chef for 5 years. Went back to the front of the house. He was like, fuck this kitchen. I'm going back. And he went to culinary school, got a degree, great chef. And it's good to have a guy like him on the floor because he knows a lot about food. Like very few
Yeah,
things.
it's so much better to know both sides. Like,
Yeah.
I cook before I ever serve,
Yeah,
so it's like
same.
that's why I care about the kitchen. Like
Yeah.
I know what's
I really
happening.
care about the kitchen because like it's hot
Yeah.
in there. Like there's not enough powder, cream, and shaving
And
to save
if you
their-
keep
their-
piling on the kitchen, it only makes it worse for everyone.
Exactly.
So,
he goes, look, you got a good table tonight. I'm like, oh, cool. And if he goes, oh, sorry, I was actually kidding. Good luck. It is 6. He goes, it's 5 Karens and a possible. I'm like, oh, we're playing fucking Tunk over here. All right. So we got spades going here. All right.
Did you say tunk?
I said Tunk.
that's the hood version of rummy. If you don't.
That brings back some
I used to play
memories.
that on the school bus, buddy.
Yeah,
I was a
played it at
tunk
Myers Middle
champion.
School.
Myers Middle School bus is where I played that shit.
Yeah. So Marty goes, no. Look, they're going to be hell. So I'm like, you know what?
He had them before.
Yeah, waited on him at not Collins Quarter, the other one.
Oh, so from another
Another
restaurant.
restaurant.
He knows this group well enough.
Yeah.
That from the
Because
They left that much of a mark.
It's on Skidaway, like close to the landings. It's not Collins Quarter. It's whatever the hell that is.
Pearl's Elegant Pelican.
I'm pretty sure it's not what it is, but all right.
Applebee's?
That's what it is. Anyways, it's close to the landings because they're all landings wives, and so they're
Gotcha.
that table.
Valium and
he goes, look.
Valium and Pinot.
He goes,
Grigio.
C3 Spanish chick. It's gonna be an ordeal. I woke up and I'm like, ladies, get you some water, all right? And they're starting barking things. I'm like, ladies, y'all been drinking all day, right? Let's get some water first. And so I get drink orders, and C3 looks up at me, and I go, I get drink orders. I'm like, you want anything? She goes, I'm just gonna have water. It's dumping down her face.
Oh, my.
It is. I mean, she's just. It's
And this isn't Applebee's. This
This
is
is a restaurant
this is
wine glass.
This
You
is
sip.
a French
You
restaurant.
don't chug, and it is just coming down her unfortunate face.
Coming
and I'm like,
down the
and so they're
mountain.
again trying to yell at me. I'm like, ladies, stop. I'll get you what you need, but I'm going to take care of everything you need. It's going to all go great.
I promise. I'll
You
I'll
won't
make
want
the
for
order.
anything,
Yeah.
but one of you may talk at a time, and I'll take care of everything. I said,
Bringing that.
and I think she is going to be in charge. And she goes, you're right. I am in charge. And she and I connect eyes. And had she been attractive, I'd have been like, what's up? But
What's
she was
happening?
not. But anyways, still hot.
So she didn't take offense to that.
No, she was like, this guy's
I am in charge.
And it put
yes.
all the Karens back in a row.
the whisperer.
And it was
Karen
Karen whispered. She goes, Clint, we'd like to get some bread. And I go, and how about a meat and cheese platter to start? She goes, that's a great idea. I'm like, because y'all look hungry. She goes, yep. I'm like, I'll be back with the bread and meat and cheese in the next 10 minutes. And the cocktails. And when I come back, I'll tell you the specials. And we'll go up there. She goes, y'all, he's got this. And they all calm down because she, the Karen whisperer, calmed them down via me. And I was
That's
like,
amazing.
Karen, you've unkaren. You're the opposite of
So
Karen.
now you're Cheryl, whatever your
Cheryl,
actual
yeah.
name is.
I know what the opposite of a Karen is a Heather.
Yeah,
You're,
right.
You're
yeah,
a Heather.
yeah.
You're a Heather. You've uncared.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then after that, smooth. Now look, I'm no fool though. We're 6. I throw that grad on that tip, right?
Of course. I'm no fool.
I'm no fool.
I love it.
$30 per Karen extra, and the head Karen, 50 cash.
So was it all in one ticket?
Nope, 6 checks.
Wow.
6 checks, really?
Very nice.
Split. Sorry, 5 checks because C3 Mexicaren left before the
Oh,
bill
wow.
came. When she leaves, they were like, yeah, she always has an excuse to get out of here early.
Oh,
so
forgot your
apparently,
wallet
Like a
again.
Mexican
they're living
goodbye,
right by the
but-
gate of the landings. They're about to get out of there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she apparently leaves like every other time they have the meal. Because they started talking
Really?
trash about her. Like, oh, conveniently, she's got to go again. So it was split 5 ways because
Right.
she had to go
Yeah.
for something. Now, she was effed up.
Yeah,
When she
yeah.
got her, she finally got her Pinot Grigio. It was half Pinot Grigio, half water. But if you do this at home, folks, sparkling water.
There you go.
Oh, it tastes more effervescent.
Ew.
Yeah, it does.
Is this a rosé? I thought I ordered a peanut, but I'm fine with this.
So, but the head
Head
K-Dog
Karen.
dropped 50 cash.
HKIC.
The HKIC.
HKIC. We have coined a new term.
Oh,
so
the HKIC.
The funniest part
That
about The
That's
funniest part about that to me is I just saw this post the other day, and these people vandalized Key West. It's like
the buoy.
The buoy, and it says 100 miles to Aruba and 200.
Right.
So these people were out there spray painting it, and they
The
go,
buoy?
yeah.
Aw.
They got caught on surveillance tape, whatever. So someone saw it. They go, oh yeah, they were in my restaurant earlier, and they didn't tip.
I saw that, and after they got him, yeah.
So just like your Marty, he was like, "Oh, I remember they didn't tip 8 years ago at a completely different restaurant. If you don't tip, you will get remembered."
Oh God, yes.
Elephants ain't got shit on servers.
It's
Yes.
weird though, because
Goddamn right.
if you tip a lot,
Yeah.
you will also get remembered.
I thought you were bringing up the we sell drugs spray painted outside of Pizza on Wheels.
Oh yeah, so
We never got into that.
Pizza on Wheels,
Is the oldest restaurant on Tybee,
and
right?
the only place that
Is Pizza on Wheels older than the Crab Shack?
I don't know.
Look it up, Jamie.
I don't know.
That's your framey. Framey.
I don't know.
Who cares?
I think.
I want to know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so the dude
What's older? I want to say Pizza on Wheels is the oldest
dude
established.
walks up and spray paints.
Wait, Crab Shack's not on Tybee. Pizza on Wheels. Okay, fine. We'll count it.
Semantics. I used to live in that neighborhood, and it's not considered Tybee. Not for.
I think Pizza
Not for
on
tax
Wheels. So
purposes.
when I was a kid, I want to say when I was 10, Crab Shack's 1992. Yeah, that's before that, right? I think Pizza
I
on
guess.
Wheels.
I don't know.
Now, granted, when you get it, you have to turn the pizza sideways to dump the grease off of it.
But
You can use that to pack your
We're
bong.
getting into semantics here.
But
someone
so
spray
it's
painted.
the oldest. It's one of those places on Tybee.
We sell drugs. is
We
what he's-
sell drugs on the side of the building.
Oh,
And what do you have there?
it doesn't say.
Oh, okay. I'll do my own research.
You do that.
Interesting side note. He didn't find anything.
So sorry, Pax Aaron. Calm down. So anyway, we sell drugs. The person obviously worked there, and he went to the window to do this. Not where it's COVID. You can put a mask on, but he didn't. 'cause
Yeah,
he's not
but
real
they
smart.
said they didn't know who it was. And I saw the.
Well, Ben Northrup. Shout out to Ben Northrup, OG listener, great guy. He was like, someone was like, I think Ben knows him, and the guy he's like, yeah, Ben knows him. And so I sent him a screenshot. He goes, is that not the Pizza on Wheels thing? And I was like, he goes, I don't know who the hell that guy is. I think it's my old roommate probably. But poor Ben got tagged a couple times in it. It was like, what the hell?
it's like us with Tito's and vodka.
Yeah, he's like, I had nothing to do with this. But like the guy, I think
If he used to work there, then why couldn't they identify him?
on the Patreon, I will describe why he may have done that. I can't do it on live air.
Okay, yeah, because
We'll just say it describes a local cab company no one uses. Where you might get raped.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
So let's close out with one nice thing.
Okay, yeah.
V,
I'm down for that.
I love you, Bernard Valenzuela III, Esquire. The force I use your last name. Since it keeps sending me food contest stuff, like people doing food contests.
He's like, he ate 5 Big Macs in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, could you do this? Could you do this? The Godzadilla Giant Quesadilla Challenge. It's a quesadilla so big you can't wrap your arms around it. He goes, could you do this in 10 minutes? I'm like, no, I'll die.
No.
I'm telling that story to my old neighbor, Lewis, who I had lunch with a few weeks ago. And I told Lewis, and Lewis and I had a few drinks. Lewis goes, I can eat 5 Big Macs in this. Lewis is a 77-year-old Jewish man who doesn't put salt on anything. There's no way he can eat 2 Big Macs. He's like talking the mad shit to me. He's like, it took you 10 minutes? And his wife's like, Lewis, you would die. He goes, I'll do that shit tomorrow.
Like, number one, you'd probably choke on the first one from not drinking water.
But he was so sure of himself. I'm like, can he do this?
What's the
He goes,
sodium level?
we did 40 years in the desert. I was like, you bring up old shit, man. Calm
When
down.
you text me, you're like, gonna be there around 7:30. I was like, if you get here at 7:30, I'll eat 10, and I just left it there.
And I was like, Tim, he goes, peanut M&Ms.
Peanut
I'm like,
M&Ms. He goes, that's not impressive. I was like, I'm gonna boof them.
I'm like, and then, I was like, and then eat them.
So then Fro texted me. He goes, because I texted Fro earlier before the podcast, because I don't know much about Sean Gillen except that he's a fucking douchebag and.
The worst guy in the world. Yeah.
So I texted Fro, fuck. Look at him writing over there. So I fucking texted Fro, and I was like, hey, do you know anything about Sean Gillen? He goes, no, just that he's a douchebag, whatever. And he goes, in the Navy, we called that stepping on your own dick. I was like,
His dick's not that long.
I was like, the thing that I didn't reply with, I was like, you'd have to have a long dick for that.
What is it? Love sausage?
That's why they call us seamen.
if you haven't seen The Boys, love sausage. That's all I got to say.
There you go.
Is love. All right, so we're going to wrap up here and come
Yeah,
back
well,
Patreon hard, fast,
So
and strong.
if you're not a
and
subscriber,
if you can't smell the butt in the air here,
oh,
Paxton's been cooking his
yeah,
butt all night.
we didn't even mention it.
We didn't mention your butt.
I was going through the IGA today, and I found a pork butt. And I was like, you know what?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
I was like, I never cook for the boys, so I'm going to put a pork butt in the oven, put a little onions and cabbage on the bottom so that it doesn't stick to the roasting tray. And then I'm going to throw a little rice in there.
Ooh, rice.
About an hour.
Rice,
before it's
baby.
done. So we got greasy rice and a pork butt that we're going to eat, and then we're going to come back and do the
Patreon. And
the
I'm going to get
Patreon.
super stoned first also.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to crush more of this Finlandia. So if you want to hear this exclusive content, sign up to patreon.com/from behind the barcast. If not, it's cool. We just love you listening.
And we're going to put a few clips on our YouTube this week of all the stuff. So please follow us on YouTube from behind the barcast.
Barcast, BAR-CAST. And let's get the F count from our man.
Do you need a calculator?
As if we need this.
My lord, you are backed up.
It's that content blue.
Hey, man, I told you I'd finish.
34 fucks.
Oh, that's low ball.
34?
That's a record.
That's a record.
That's a record.
I'm glad. You just said
were
fuck,
both-
so mark one down. Please.
That puts me into second now because we were tied. So fuck
Yes, my man. Where were we tied at? 16?
you. Well, no, we were both at 9 each.
9.
Yeah.
9.
That's respectable.
That's respectable. But I told you I was going to be fucking. Because you know what this podcast does?
Cooking butts and fucking.
This podcast really fucks. Thank you. We love you guys.